Hi guys, welcome to today's video where I will be showing you how I set up my monthly budget. And the budget that I am preparing in this video will be for the month of November. Okay, so the first thing that I'll be doing is preparing my monthly dashboard. And this dashboard that I'm actually using is a printable that I created. So if you're interested, my links are down below and you can download a copy of it for yourself. It is actually undated, and I am going to fill it in with all of the various days for the month of November. And once that is complete, then I go ahead and I start to put in my pay periods and my various bills that I anticipate that I'm going to have during the month. These bills in particular and the income are set bills that I know are going to occur every month. I don't put any variable expenses on here, so it's only the bills and the due dates that I know are going to be coming during the month that I put on this dashboard. That way, when I look at the planner, I can see exactly when something is due. And I won't lie, I need to actually do this paper planning because I need to visually see it. But I also put reminders in my phone because there are times where I may not remember that a payment is due and I would just see it going across my account. And so I kind of like both of them to work in tandem, but I definitely do like paper planning and budgeting on paper because it allows me to see exactly what is ahead of me and it gives me more of a holistic view. So like I said, I just go ahead and I populate all of the bills and the income that I expect to get and when I expect to get it during the month. And that is the first part of my process. Now, as I am doing this, I will say that I'm using a sheet of paper where I have everything recorded for the month that I anticipate because I know that there have been instances in the past where I may have forgotten to put something on my dashboard. And then, like I said earlier, I may just see it come through the auto payment because I do have a lot of my regular bills done via auto payments just to make it easier so I don't have to intervene in that aspect. So I am using a sheet of paper that I went over just to make sure that I have captured everything, and I will check it back to make sure that I have populated all of the correct dates and the amount that I need to. Now, there are one or two bills like my cell phone bill or even the electrical bill that they're not necessarily standard. And so what I do is I will just use an estimate of these amounts based on the average bill. I know like this time of year, our electricity bill tends to go down as it gets a little cooler. So the amount that I'm going to estimate for that will be a little less than previously for the summer months. And also for my phone bill, that is pretty much standard, even though I may get some overage fees here and there. But for the most part, that amount stays the same. So that is going to be it for that. So the next thing that I do is this is where I actually prepare the monthly budget itself. I use the monthly overview dashboard that I would have created with the fixed expenses to ensure that I have captured everything from there into the actual monthly budget. Now, the budget itself has categories for the income and the expenditures, and there are also columns for the budgeted amount and the actual amounts. So, since it's the beginning of the month, I am going to populate the income and expenses based on the budgeted amounts, and I'm calling them budgeted because you never know what can happen during the month. An expense may change, and so when I do a budget closeout at the end of the month, then that is where I will go ahead and I will populate the actual expenses just to make sure that everything is in line and there are not too many budget deviations, because I know that that can also happen. So here I am listing my income and my expenses, and I'm not necessarily listing them in any particular order of importance, but you can list your expenses based on fixed and variable expenses, and you can rank them based on the importance for you. So I know, like, for some people, you may put your tithing first, and then you go down from there. You may put your mortgages, your debt, any other loans and whatnot that you may have. But like I said, for me with this particular one, I didn't rank anything necessarily in any order. I just went through the dashboard and I took everything from there and I put it on here. And then I would have gone ahead and updated the variable expenses. And so once I have everything in the sheet, you will see that I am going to go through and I am going to tally the expenses just so I can know exactly what it is that I have budgeted for the month. And like I said, not until I close out at the end of the month will I know exactly for sure what I actually spent. But this is going to give me an idea of my exact estimate and what I intend to spend for the month. This is going to be my spending plan, but like I said, deviations can happen here and there. But this at least will be able to keep me on track so that I can stay focused. So the final part of my budget prep for the month is going to be where I do my paycheck budget. This is where I will use the actual monthly budget that I created with all of the expenses, and I will allocate them based on my actual pay periods that I anticipate for the month. Now, I do work a regular job, and so I expect to get paid twice during the month. And I found for me that my second pay period tends to be a little bit lighter than my first pay period, and so I try to balance the expenses based on the due dates just to ensure that there are no cash flow issues. And eventually, I want to work to where I can be able to take a portion of each paycheck and save it toward a particular bill so that there's no strain at all actually going forward. But that's going to be something that I work on for the future, like I said. But yeah, this part is where I'm just filling in each of the expenses, like I said, with the budget in no particular order. I'm just making sure that I capture everything. And then once everything is written down, I will go ahead and do a tally just to see what I'm expecting to come out of each period. And then once I'm done with that, I will go ahead and close off the budget at the end of the month. But I will do a paycheck budget just to ensure that I have captured everything on the pay period when the pay period comes, and it is recorded in the budget to ensure that I'm staying on top of my expenses. So that's it for this video. I will do a budget closeout at the end of the month, and you'll be able to see how I close up my budget and ensure that I am at a zero balance and what I do to get it there at the end of the month, just so I ensure that all of my money is working for me in some way or the other. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if this type of content interests you, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and also be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know any budgeting hacks and tips that you have that you apply to your daily life. Thanks.